A reading from the Gospel according to Luke. In those days, a decree went out from Emperor Augustus that all the world should be registered, and so all went to their own towns. Joseph went from the town of Nazareth to the city of David called Bethlehem, because he was descended from the house of David. He went to be registered with Mary, to whom he was engaged and who was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for her to deliver, and she gave birth to her firstborn son, and wrapped him in bands of cloth, and laid him in a manger, because there was no place for them in the inn. In that region there were shepherds living in the fields, keeping watch over their flock by night. Then an angel of the Lord stood before them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid, for see, I am bringing you good news of great joy for all the people. To you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, who is the Messiah, the Lord. This will be a sign for you. You will find a child wrapped in bands of cloth and lying in a manger." And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of heavenly hosts, praising God. When the angels had left them, the shepherds said to one another, "Let us go now to Bethlehem and see this thing that has taken place, which the Lord has made known to us." So they went with haste and found Mary and Joseph and the child lying in the manger. Thanks be to God. When I was younger, I had big dreams of being a trapeze artist. I suppose I wasn't that young. I was already a teenager, and I had a very limited scope of physical fitness, an even more limited scope of upper body strength, and no flexibility whatsoever. So this dream proved to be as futile as my childhood dream of being a professional chef, which in retrospect is ridiculous for other reasons. Some dreams are just pie in the sky. They're like meteors that burn up on impacts of the atmosphere of our own limitations. Other dreams, though, are ones that we cling to, ones that we give our lives to, that we work toward. And sometimes, dishearteningly, when we arrive at those dreams, we find that they are not as we imagined. It is not quite as we imagine. Contrary to Handel's Messiah and almost every depiction of the Nativity scene, there is only one king in the Christmas story, and it is the Emperor Augustus, who with awesome power displaces an entire population on the whim of wanting to count them. Juxtapose this power with the humble, if holy, family, Mary and Joseph, who perhaps do not yet fully trust each other and certainly are not sporting halos around their heads. There are no wise men who appear to them in the version in Luke, and in none of the Gospels do the angels actually appear at the manger. In Luke, it is only the impoverished shepherds and the elderly prophets who confirm Mary's testimony that the child she has given birth to, who looks like any other baby, is in fact remarkable. This story full of unremarkable people, full of doubt, is the original Christmas story. And this Christmas story, not the one that comes later in movies and in carols, is essential to our understanding of Christian faith. Because in Christmas, we experience God's dream of deeper relationship with us that comes in the form of a child. And children, for most of history are considered perpetually touch and go, such is the unlikelihood that they will survive to be adults. And a child is never more vulnerable than when he is born among the poor, when he is born in an occupied nation, when he is born far from home. These circumstances of Jesus' birth are not a whimsical afterthought. Rather, in the fragility of this child, God speaks to us. God says, I am willing to take on all aspects of the human condition, your fears, your frailties, your mortal coil, your vulnerability. Our dreams, our real dreams, make us vulnerable. It's one thing to share a whim or a wish to become a trapeze artist. It's another to say, the world is not as it should be, and I am going to commit myself to making a difference. It is another thing to come out and say, this is who I am, come what may. Such dreams, dreams of equality, of honesty, of reparation, of transformation, even dreams of simple civic responsibility are often met with condemnation, judgment, even violence. In Christmas, God says, even when the world is not ready, especially when the world is not ready, dream anyway. In Christmas, God says, do not fear. I dream with you. This Christmas, perhaps more than any Christmas in my lifetime, our world is in need of dreams, of dreamers like us. And if that seems impossible, if the darkness of this season simply seems to be too much to overcome, remember that Christ is born into darkness among people who faced great impossibilities, and that even if this year we are apart from those we love the most, we are not alone. We are never alone. We have never been alone, because Emmanuel, God is with us. God dreams with us and lives in us, and by the grace of God, Christ's hope, love, peace, and even joy are born among us this night. And so, dreamers, arise and shine. Our light has come, and through us, God will share this light with the world. Thanks be to God.